There is a meeting that is happening where CS Ababu Namwamba is having a meeting with the Shujaa 7's rugby team, and it is happening right now. So if we can head over there and then we get back with our discussion.
We are here not just to celebrate a trophy. We are here not just to celebrate an African title. We are here to celebrate the opportunity to represent this country at the very pinnacle of world sports. In terms of world sports, it does not rise higher than the Olympics. The dream of every sportsman and woman is to appear at the Olympics. And once you have appeared at the Olympics, you are, there's a term you use, Humphrey, you are an Olympian for life. So you guys, you are legends for life for qualifying to appear at the Olympics. And I want to thank the team that leads the National Olympics Committee of Kenya for demonstrating that it is indeed to run sports in an organized, in a professional and effective manner. So Francis, together with your team, led by our legend, Dr. Paul Targat, we applaud you and the National Olympics Committee. I want to acknowledge the leadership of the rugby union, and I'm actually very happy that Sasha Mtai is leading the team now at the rugby union. Rugby union was one of my Achilles heel when I entered this ministry. One of the trouble sports, and agonized what we were going to do to get rugby not just where it has been before, but beyond where we have been before. And so when Sasha and his new team came in, and we sat down immediately, he was elected. I could see a new vision. I could see freshness in the thinking. I could see passion. And what I saw at the beginning is starting to bear fruit. And you are the first big fruit we harvest from the leadership of Sasha Mutai at the rugby union. So pongezi sana Sasha, together with your team. Na mimi nilikuhakikishia kwamba we will not do things half measure. We will not settle for second best. We'll always go for the best that is available. And you are delivering on that promise. This team is a reconstruction job after a demolition experience. This is a reconstruction job. In May this year, we suffered the ignominy of being relegated from the World 7's series. That ignominy befell us and was witnessed by a newly minted PS. Because when the PS came in, I told PS, Nenda London, the series are going on, and I was on tenterhooks, I was on the edge. I would call the captain. I called the captain from while you were in Singapore. I called the captain at one time. He gathered all the players, and I addressed you by, Zoom? I addressed the team by Zoom, and I was telling the team, we can't drop out of this series. We have to go for it. We have to maintain our status. But then, in London, we stumbled. And after that stumble, Nelson Mandela, one of Africa's finest sons, says, the greatest people are not defined by not stumbling. You are not great for not stumbling. The greatest people are those who, when they stumble, still have the strength to rise again. That is the measure of real strength and real greatness. That when you stumble, you have the character, the ability to do what? To rise again. And so in 3 short months, after the demolition job in London, today we celebrate the success of a reconstruction effort. I am aware that of the 12 players seated here, 6 of you are part of that London team. 6 of you are entirely new. You're a new addition to the team. That is part of the reconstruction. That is part of the regeneration. And I am proud that the responsible federation, the rugby union, is doing this in a deliberate, in an intentional, and a structured fashion to reconstruct this team. So hongera sana for that. They say to be the best, you must beat the best. There's no way you're going to be the best if you don't beat the best. And so, you are here as the best because you have beaten the best. I followed each of your game. Personally, mundu ku mundu, I followed. I watched you beat Namibia 50-0. And I said, wow, there must be something here. I watched you beat Burkina Faso 26-0. I watched you beat Zimbabwe 35-10. And then I sat back to wait for you to meet the blitz box. And there's a young man in this room who is your passionate fan. He was the tournament director of the World Under-20 Championship. That young man, Lloyd, at the back. So Lloyd sends me a text and tells me, this is that moment. Shujaa versus the blitz box. And I told him, this is the ultimate test. This is the ultimate test. So on Sunday, I had the difficult role of meeting swimming federation stakeholders to get our swimming federation back on its feet. And I kept on telling Francis was with me, I kept on telling Francis, there's a game. There's a big game while we are sorting out this swimming federation. There is perhaps the biggest game for me this year. We have to keep an eye on this game. And so we watched you. We followed every single moment of that game. And you beat this great South African team. It was actually the top tier of the South African 7's. Don't be cheated. These guys brought in their big guns. And you beat them 17-12. We were on tenterhooks like this. You know, you guys think maybe it is you who are right there in the stadium, but we were on tenterhooks. We were on the edge, but we were cheering you on. And we could see your determination. And you could see you capture that moment, and you wanted to return to the big stage. And you have done that. Hongera. Hongera sana. As we celebrate you, we want to reiterate the government's position that for us to keep rising, we have to continue investing. They say, even if you're on the right track, you'll be run over if you just stay there. Meaning that even if you're on the right track, you have to keep moving. You have to keep in perpetual state of motion. We must continue to be very deliberate and intentional in terms of youth development. I'm very happy that a vast majority of this team fall in that category of our youth players. We have had the Bath East tournament here, where we had our team Chipu participating. We had the Under-20 World Tournament here. That is the route to continue developing at that youth level. We have to be involved in the school's ecosystem, in the college ecosystem. You may want to know that this year, this ministry pretty much took over everything happening in schools. The Kenya Drama and Film Festival, the Kenya Music Festival, the Kenya Schools Ball Games were all supported by this ministry to the tune of 267 million shillings. And so that passion you saw, the crowds you saw at Buhungu Stadium for football, that was really because of the investment and the push by this ministry. For the first time ever, you saw school games being aired live on KBC television. It is part of our deliberate effort to plug into the school ecosystem, because a vast percentage of talents in this country are naturally domiciled in that school ecosystem. And so our youth development must be anchored there. And Sasha, I want to thank you, together with your team. When we hosted Kenya's first ever national sports holiday talent camp, because as those school games were going on, we selected 2,000 of the best young people from those games. We brought them here to Nairobi for a national talent camp. And we invited federations to come and interact with those children. And I'm glad that, Sasha, you were there personally, leading your team from the rugby union. And I am convinced that from that ecosystem, you can continue feeding our youth sides, our Chipu team, and other levels of developing the next generation of champions. In a couple of weeks, I'll be making a visit to Koyonzo Secondary School.
All right, that is the CS at a meeting that is happening at Weston Hotel, where he is hosting the Shujaa 7's team that is set to be going to Paris, you know, for in 2024 to compete.